Hey, and welcome back. So today I am here with another cooking video. This time I made some miso crab ramen. As you can see, it's pretty much just some ramen with a miso broth base and some king crab legs or king crab meat. And thank you, shout out to my friend Coco for leaving those here for Friendsmas. They went to very good use, so thank you. And thank you to these crabs for sacrificing their legs. We appreciate it. As you can see, I have some king crab legs here. And they're spiky. King crab legs usually have that spike on it. So I'm using like a little cloth here to break them up and protect my hands. These are frozen solid. I didn't thaw them first. I'm steaming them from frozen. So I just broke them up so they can fit in the steamer with the lid. I'm throwing a bay leaf and a bouillon cube in the water. Does that help with flavor on the crab legs? I don't know, but I felt like it wouldn't hurt to at least do a little bit of seasoning in the water. I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and steam those, get those going. I turned the heat down to medium low heat, and I put the lid on it because I don't want them to steam too fast and the texture gets all gross if they overcook. So next I'm going to go ahead and start with make the miso base, broth base. I had about a half a packet of the miso mix, the powdered soup mix, whatever you want to call it. And so I used that along with the seasonings that I am showing here. I am not going to use, I'm going to use, as you can see, I'm going to use like the instant ramen noodle packets, but I'm not going to use the seasoning, the flavor packet that comes with it. So I am making my own broth to use here with these ingredients. There's a little ginger paste and then some roasted garlic. I'm going to do a recipe on that soon, how to make and freeze that roasted garlic, because I'm out of it and I need to make some more. So I put that on the stove, and while it's simmering, I cut up these green onions, chives, whatever you like to call them. Which one do you call them? Green onions, chives, same thing, I guess. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the bottom part of the stalk towards the base, towards the root, the lighter pieces, the crunchier pieces. I'm going to put those in the broth, and they're going to simmer in the broth. And then I'm going to reserve the darker pieces, the top of the green onions, for the garnish. And then I'm seasoning a little bit more. I don't think this was even necessary, but whatever. It's this seafood base, some onion powder, some garlic powder. Just like I always say, be careful with the salt content. You just don't want to put too many salt-based seasonings. And here I realized like I was doing too much, so I stopped. And there's a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper, and then just stir that around. And I'm just gonna let that simmer. And giving it some time to simmer is just going to allow like all the seasonings to make sure they're fully incorporated and broke down, and make sure all the pastes are broke down and that there's no clumps or anything like that. So while that's simmering, I'm going to go ahead and open up these crab legs. I'm using a pair of kitchen shears for this. I feel like scissors are just the easiest thing to use to break open crab legs, especially the larger ones. Don't go using a random pair of scissors in your house. If you don't have some kitchen shears like with your set of knives, just go to the dollar store. You can get a pair for $1, I promise. But I definitely suggest you invest in those if you don't have them. They don't even have to be, like I said, great. But I'm just going to go ahead and bust this down, get as much of the crab meat out as possible. And honestly, like, I don't think I really left anything behind at all. I opened up every single piece of them crab's legs. And as you can see, I'm burning my hands like every step of the way. So you might want to use gloves or give it some time to cool down. I was only cooking for myself, and I wash my hands a lot when I'm in the kitchen, so I didn't find the need to use gloves. But if not even for sanitary reasons, if you don't want to burn your hands, definitely take some precautions. Don't be like me. Be better than me. So watching this back, I'm just thinking like how hard I worked for this meal. Look at me struggling. But it was so good. When I tell you it was really delicious, it was worth it. So after I got all the crab meat out, I went ahead and just put it in this little glass container, and I just set it back in a steamer with the heat off just so it could stay warm. And then I'm chopping up some cilantro that I had left over from a previous recipe, and I'm going to use that as a garnish when the noodles are done. That's the pack of instant ramen that I told you about. I'm only using the noodles. I am not using the seasoning packet because I made my own broth and I seasoned it thoroughly. If you're not going to make your own broth, you're not going to add your own seasonings, just go ahead and use the seasoning packet. But for me, I just wanted to make it a little bit more like a seafood base, a miso base than a chicken base, and that was the right decision. So this is the final product. After I let the noodles cook, I let them cook for about 3 minutes because that's what the package instructions say, 3 minutes on boiling water. Maybe I turned it down and let it cook for 4 minutes. It was a little bit less than boiling. But once it's done, I'm going to put the noodles in a bowl along with a little bit of the broth, as much or as little as you like. I don't like a whole lot of broth, so this is perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead and top this off with some of that whole chunk crab meat. We are not shredding it up. And then I have some pickled cabbage that I made, and it was really good, but I put it in cold and it cooled my food down. I ain't like that. So if I ever use that again, if I ever make this again, I'm either gonna warm up the pickled cabbage or not include it because I don't like my food cold. And so now I'm doing the garnishes. I did the green onions and the cilantro, and then a little bit more of that crab meat. That's like the meat from one of the legs. And then there's a close-up shot with how everything came together. It was so good. And you know, it doesn't have to be crab. Whatever meat you have, you got some leftover sausage, chicken, beef, whatever you have. You could egg, vegetables. Go ahead and just be creative. Put it in your ramen, and I promise you won't regret it. Thank you for watching. Bye.